Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Abby with Fitness is Medicine. And today I'm going to give you a workout, show you a workout that you can do entirely on the floor using only your body weight. So you don't need hardly any space, you just need enough space to stretch out on the floor and no equipment. So we're going to use your body weight to challenge your muscles. So we're going to use upper body, lower body, core, and try to get as many muscle groups in as we can. So we're going to start with some push-ups, which I know are really challenging for a lot of you. So remember, when you're doing push-ups, you can either use an elevated surface like a coffee table or a bench, even a countertop, because that can give you that leverage that you need to make it possible to do. So you can stand at your kitchen sink, you can use any type of lowered down system that will make it easier for you. I'm going to do them on the floor. Remember, you can always do them on your knees. Try to start with a level that will challenge you a little bit more. As you all know, being on the floor, if you have pets around, they're going to want to be with you. So that can make it more of a challenge. So I'm going to start with push-ups. Come on, come on. All right. So remember, you can start on your knees. But importantly, you want your hands underneath your shoulders. They can be a little wider, that's okay. But you don't want them all the way out here. You want them underneath your shoulders. You want to keep your shoulders down away from your ears and don't dip your head. So I'm going to do them on my toes. Let's do 10. 1. Remember to breathe each time. 6, 7, 8. 9, 10. All right, good. So you're trying to lower your chest to the counter or to the floor or to the elevated surface. Now we're going to turn over on our backs. So we're going to flip over every time for an exercise. So today we're going to do bridges next. Remember, with bridges, we've done these a lot, but you want to press your back into the floor, press your hips towards the ceiling, and really think about squeezing those glutes. We're going to hold it for a count of 5. And then release. So press your back, squeeze those glutes, press to the ceiling. You don't necessarily have to press your hips really far up. You just really want to think about squeezing those glutes and maintaining that flat back. So press and then press up. Another way to advance these a little bit would be to put your feet up on a ball. But remember, today we're not using any equipment, so anyone can do this workout. Remember to keep breathing as you're holding this. You're putting your weight through your heels. If you notice, my toes are actually up just a little bit. I'm pressing through my heels. If you're having any back pain, really focus on that, pressing your back into the mat and then pressing up, squeezing your glutes. Don't let your back be compromised with this. Another way to challenge this, only using body weight, is press your back. You can do one-legged bridges. So holding it up like this. And this is quite a bit more of a challenge. If you want to, you could alternate sides. Or you could try 10 on one side and then 10 on the other. If you're having any joint pain, though, I would recommend sticking with the original bridge here. We're going to do 10. The longer you hold it, the more those muscles have to keep firing, and the more muscle fibers that have to fire in order to keep you in that position. I think let's do 2 more. You can keep your hands down here beside your hips for some support, or you can hold them up here on your tummy, whichever is most comfortable, really. All right. Good. Now we're going to flip over on your hands and knees again. And we're going to do mountain climbers. So this is another really challenging one that you can do at your countertop or on an elevated surface such as a bench or a coffee table or something. I'm going to do them on the floor. So you're going to go up into plank position just like you're going to do a push-up. And then you're going to drive your knee in between your elbows. We're going to do 10 on each side. So you're trying to keep your back And hips nice and flat. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10. Good. So if those are really challenging for you, which they are, it's a challenging exercise, you can do them on an elevated surface, or just do 3 or 4 and then rest, and then try a few more. Really challenge yourself to be able to do these. Okay, now we're going to flip back over again on your back and do some leg lifts. So we're going to be in the same position that we started our bridges in. You want to flatten your back to the mat, press one leg out straight, turn here, and I want you to do a leg lift, but I'm going to have you let your foot turn out to the side like that. So we're going to work this part. We're working your hip flexors, but this is also a good way to engage your quads without putting your knee at any risk. So let your foot kind of flop out to the side like if you were just relaxing. Press your back into the mat, to the floor, and lift and lower here. Try not to touch down at the bottom. If that's really challenging for you and you're having a really hard time, then let it rest in between. But try to just stay in this range of motion. Lift it up to this height and then back down. Keep breathing. By turning your foot in this direction, we're actually activating your VMO just a little bit, which is your medial part of your quad, which muscle imbalances can often lead to joint pain, so we don't want to have any muscle imbalances, so try and just strengthen all areas of those muscles. Remember, you're pressing your back to the mat, staying in this range of motion, lifting it up to where your knee is bent, lowering it down but not quite touching the floor. That helps keep your muscle engaged that whole time to really maximize the benefit of this exercise. Keeping your back pressed into the mat will also keep your abs engaged a little bit more, protecting your back but also giving us an added benefit of the core engaging as well. All right, good. Now we're going to flip back over on your hands and knees, and we're going to do a hip exercise, fire hydrants. And you'll see why they're called fire hydrants. You're just going to lift your leg up to the side like that. So hands directly below your shoulders, knees directly below your hips, flat back, keeping your head in line, not looking down or looking up. And you're going to lift your hip out to the side. Importantly, you're trying to keep your back flat, so we don't want to be doing this. Keeping everything flat and engaged. It's not actually a very large movement. If you'll notice, I'm not taking it up super high, but this engages your glutes for that hip stability that's so important for proper gait and decreased joint pain. So if you do have any hip pain, this is a really good one to do to increase those glute strength, glute muscle strength. Okay, switch sides. So remember, you're keeping everything nice and flat, knees over, or hips over knees, shoulders over hands, keeping everything as flat as you can. If you're keeping everything straight and in line, you will feel this also engaging in your core just a little bit. And the slower you go with these, the better. So if you're not really feeling it and you're kind of, doing this type of thing, slow down, take a nice deep breath, and do them as slowly as you can. These are all easy to do, like in between, during commercials, on your show breaks or timeouts on your favorite game or something like that. Okay, we're gonna flip over on your back one more time and do one more core exercise. So lying down, starting in that same position with your back flat to the mat. This is a really good position for your back if you do have back pain. This really can help relax any spasming that may be going on. And it's a really healthy position for your back to be in. It helps put your hips and your back in alignment So if nothing else, lay like this if you are having back pain, or put your feet up on a chair or something. Okay, so we're going to do alternating heel touches. So we're going to start with your feet up high. I'm going to move my camera just a touch. Okay. Start with your feet up high, like this. So my back is nice and flat. I'm engaging my core to press my back into the floor. And I'm going to drop one knee, one heel to the ground, and then back up. So nice and slowly. The slower I do this, the more my core has to engage. Importantly here, notice that I'm keeping my knee bent. I'm not going to straighten it out here, because that can put your back at risk, especially if you do have any underlying back pain. Really focusing on flattening my back. Okay, if you feel like your back's coming up and you can slide anything underneath there, stop. Put your feet back here, flatten your back, and then try again. So you can always kind of stop and readjust with any of these where we're lying on our back, because you really want to work on that. And that can be really hard, I know, to keep your back flat for that long, because it's even engaging these muscles even more. Keep breathing. I'm going to do 3 more. I don't know how many I've done, but we'll do 3 more. 1 more on each side. All right, good. So one thing you can do after these 2 is bring your knees into your chest. If you can't quite get your arms around your knees, you can grab behind or use a strap, like a stretch strap. A dog leash works really well if you want to hold it here. But bringing your knees into your chest like this helps stretch out your low back. You can kind of roll like this, in addition to doing your other stretches after this. Okay, why don't you go through and do these a couple more times each. You can work your way through them. You're just flipping back and forth, which is a really important thing to be able to do too, is flipping back and forth between your hands and knees and your back on the floor. So go ahead and do 3 sets of all of these. At least do 1 set. Remember to get a good warm-up in before you start, and a cool down and a stretch when you're finished. Thanks, everybody. Let's start off this week on a great note. I'll talk to you again soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.